Hello there. Tonight's Football League show is a beach ball-free zone. There are, however, plenty of goals as the Championship sides return to action after the international break. Steve Claridge is with me, no doubt looking to inflate and deflate a few egos. And Lizzie's waiting to hear from you. Lizzie.
Yep, as always, we want to hear what you've got to say. Tell us your footballing stories. Maybe you've got a question for Steve, or is there something you think we should be talking about right here tonight on the Football League show? You know what to do. You can text us on 81111 or send us an email to footballleague@bbc.co.uk and put your club name in the subject bar, and always remember to put your name on it too.
Thanks, Lizzie. Here's a taster of what's coming up. Two of the Championship's form teams met at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest tried to halt the leaders Newcastle in their tracks. The last time Blackpool lost at home was on April the 4th against today's visitors, Plymouth. A repeat for Argyle could see them climb out of the bottom three.
In League One, Swindon were hoping to continue their long unbeaten run against manager Danny Wilson's former club Hartlepool, and I've been spending the day with one of their supporters who hasn't missed a first-team match for 28 years.
Amazing. By the way, if you know of a fan like that, then do let Lizzie know. Right, let's start at the City Ground then, where Newcastle were hoping to consolidate their position at the top of the Championship. But Forest are on a fine run just now, having won their last 3 games, so a tough test for the leaders. Your commentator is Martin Fisher.
7 wins in the whole of last season for Newcastle, 7 already this, as they rise to the challenge of erasing the trauma of relegation with immediate promotion. Top of the tree, they're there to be shot at. Forest the latest, with Geordie stripes in their sights as they bid for their 4th consecutive victory. Billy Davies makes 2 changes to the side that won at Peterborough last time out. Kelvin Wilson makes only his 2nd start of the season, and Guy Moussi is added to a 5-man midfield. Top scorer Dexter Blackstock, with 5 goals to his name so far, is the lone striker. Chambers and McGoldrick drop to the bench. A hamstring injury has got the better of Stephen Taylor, but Jose Enrique has recovered from a similar problem and returns in a reshuffled defence. After his exploits with Diego Maradona's Argentina, Jonas Gutierrez isn't risked from the start, so another chance for Gateshead-born Andy Carroll to add to his growing reputation. Forward here by Morgan, dangerous looking ball as well, good header, what a fantastic stop, great save by Harper. Blackstock got just enough on that, and it's a really good stop by Steve Harper. Bottom corner, that's heading, and a great stretch by Steve Harper to keep it out. 7 clean sheets already for the Newcastle keeper. Majewski playing further forward this afternoon in this revamped midfield for Nottingham Forest, playing just behind Blackstock. Anderson with a chance to centre. Poor clearance. Majewski. Well, he's already scored 3 times this season, the Polish international. There is Billy Davies, who's been here since the turn of the year. Stated that keeping Forest in this division last season was his proudest moment in football. This from a man that guided Derby County to promotion and very nearly did the same at Preston North End. Gunter won't give this up. Simpson needs to clear and can't prevent the corner. Now we can expect Wes Morgan to come forward from the back. Blackstock already in there. Curled in by Majewski. It's the post. It was Blackstock with it. Cannons against the post with Harper static on his line. Another foul on Andy Carroll. Forest beginning to concede a few free kicks now. And again, the referee in a perfect position to spot that. Taylor it is that swings it in, and against the post. Had Harewood got a touch to that initially, surely Lee Camp would have been severely tested. How did Harewood not help that in? And this time it's the woodwork that saves Nottingham Forest. They cannot believe it. Blackstock. Majewski for Anderson. Cohen offering support to his left. Musi. Anderson couldn't take it in his stride. Tyson! On the spin, on his favoured left foot. Tyson whistles one past Harper's left-hand post. Nice build-up here again by Nottingham Forest. And Tyson didn't need any second invitation there. And again, Harper would never have smelt this one. Bouncing the wrong side of the post for the home side. Nice football again. Blackstock has made a great run. Blackstock, here's a chance, and he's scored! Dexter Blackstock just about does enough to help it past Steve Harper. Forest get the lead at their first half. Quality merits. And Dexter Blackstock, who's hit the post and forced the best out of Steve Harper, is the man that gets it. The league leaders are behind, and Dexter Blackstock has his 6th goal of the season. Guthrie into the feet of Carroll. Morgan in the right place again for Nottingham Forest. Poor clearance though, gathered here by Jose Enrique. His ball in, Camp couldn't claim it, and Cohen finds touch. Forest are asleep at the start of this second half. Equaliser doesn't look far away at the moment, and it might come here if Harewood can get the shot in. What a block by Kelvin Wilson. Harewood close to scoring on his former stomping ground here. Chris Hughton will be delighted by the way his team has started this second half. Much, much better. It needed to be. Gutierrez tiptoeing his way down that left-hand side, looking for Harewood, who appeared to be baulked there. Smith. Carroll lying deep. Great tackle. Smith has got it back though for Newcastle. Ryan Taylor. In comes the cross. Smith got a touch. Nolan gets the goal. Newcastle are level, but the flag is up and the joy is short-lived. A shake of the head from Kevin Nolan. It's the flick on there that we're judging it from, and he was just ahead of the last man. Gutierrez, seen a lot of the ball since he came on and has rarely given it away. Enrique. Carroll was in there. Well, the challenge by Morgan sufficient, but it did come off the Forest defender last, and it's another Newcastle corner. Really has been playing in the shadow of Carroll throughout. Almost on his toes throughout the game. Newcastle's 7th corner. Swung in and over the crossbar by Ranger, who's only just come on. Yet to score for Newcastle, but he kept that down. He was so close. I doubt very much Lee Camp would have been able to keep it out. McGoldrick to try and get hold of it for Forest. Now Tyson doesn't want to lose it there. He has won a free kick. Second defeat for Chris Hughton's men, staring them squarely in the face right now. Can Forest keep the ball? Can they add to their lead? It's Tyson. He's away from Smith. Who's in the box? It's a chance for McGoldrick. And Newcastle's turn to hack it away, not too effectively. There's the final whistle. Delight for Billy Davis. 4 straight wins for Nottingham Forest. This, the biggest feather in their cap. League leaders Newcastle go down for only the 2nd time this season. Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle United 0.
I thought first half we played particularly well, moving the ball around, possession was good. I thought our movement off the ball was first class, but second half I just felt that we stopped keeping the ball. Our passes were poor, we gave the ball away too much, and we gave ourselves a lot of problems second half, which we didn't need to do.
I thought we deserved to get something from the game. Certainly the second half performance, we were slower out of the traps than what they were. They were better than us in that first half period. And I think when you have a period like that, what you've got to make sure and do is not concede. And of course, we conceded at the worst possible time.
So Forest picking up then where they left off at the international break. It's after an indifferent start, it's coming together for them now, isn't it?
It is. What you've got to say is, I said this when, after we played 4 or 5 games, said, you can be in a dangerous position and through pure luck. There were quite a few games early on in the season where I remember people, independent observers saying, Forest were desperately unlucky there. I remember them having some really good games and playing well, but not getting their just desserts. Now they're getting them.
I mean, there was a few worries from Forest fans that Billy Davies was buying nothing but attackers. They have got pace in abundance.
Well, they have. We saw 2 sides of them today, didn't we? Particularly first half, they were fantastic. I mean, as you say, you've got Anderson and Tyson, down both wings, getting at you, as you say, real pace. Putting people on the back foot, making them defend, getting in behind the defence, and that's where you pose a problem to the opposition. On the other hand, second half, they had to dig in. There was a real good spirit about them, a real character to defend that goal and not let Newcastle in. And as I say, that's a good sign when you can do it both ways.
Yeah, I had to check. Dexter Blackstock, 23. I mean, he seems like he's been around for a lot longer than that.
Yes.
I mean, made his name at Southampton, QPR. Their fans were quite gutted that he left Loftus Road.
Yeah.
He scores goals wherever he goes.
Yes, it's been one of those where you're wondering why he keeps moving, isn't it? Because he seems to do well at clubs, but he keeps moving for some unknown reason. He was very good today. Real threat.
2 points from possible 9 for Newcastle. Should their fans be worried?
No. I mean, they played fine today. I think we all know that if they can keep the players they've got, maybe add 1 or 2 in the near future, then they'll be there or thereabouts.
OK. Well, the only team that could catch Newcastle at the summit at the start of the day was West Brom. Today, the Baggies welcomed a struggling Reading side who've managed just 1 win from the last 6 games.
Since thrashing Middlesbrough, West Brom have gone through something of a slump.
What the Baggies!
Without a win in 3. They were hoping to put that right against Reading, but the early signs weren't good. Matt Mills on the end of a Brian Howard free kick to put the Royals ahead. Soon after, there was another goal from a Reading set-piece, but this time for West Brom. Look out for Adam Federici, the Reading goalkeeper in no man's land, beaten by Jerome Thomas, who was making his first appearance after a 3-match ban. Only Federici will know what he was doing so far out of his goal. Into the second half, and Roberto Di Matteo's team pushed on for the goal that would put their promotion push back on track. It arrived through Jerome Thomas, who was too strong again for the Reading rearguard. All 3 points were guaranteed for West Brom 3 minutes from time. Yusuf Malumbu with his 3rd goal for the club, and what a good goal. It could have been 4. Graham Dorrans tried the spectacular and very nearly achieved it. Federici with a save this time. Albion back to winning ways. Watford had never won at the Riverside, where with just 5 goals in their previous 5 games at home this season, Middlesbrough fans have been quick to show their dissatisfaction. And they had more to moan about after this match. Former Borough player Danny Graham set up Tom Cleverley on loan from Manchester United for his 5th goal of the season to put Watford in front. This was Gareth Southgate's 150th match in charge of Borough. Things looked to be improving for him when Sean St Ledger rose highest at the far post, only to see his header disallowed for pushing. Both he and Leroy Lita incredulous at the decision. Borough went agonisingly close again. Tony McMahon striking the bar with a fierce drive that bounced down, but not over the line. A 3rd successive home defeat for Middlesbrough.
As soon as we went a goal behind, we didn't look like winning the game. We've had chances. We had a goal disallowed, obviously, which is questionable, but the general performance wasn't good enough, and we've got to accept that.
To come up to Middlesbrough, who have come down from the Premiership and started very well this year, real experienced players and a good manager. It was a great result to come up here today and win.
Cardiff fans were hoping their team could continue the form that had seen them score 10 goals in their 2 matches before the international break, and a Cardiff player did score early on, but Mark Hudson sadly put the ball into his own net against his former club, an unlucky 13th minute. Bluebirds midfielder Peter Whittingham had scored 4 goals in his last 3 games, and Whittingham was on target again here to equalise. Chris Burke setting him up, Cardiff behind for just 6 minutes. So an exciting match in prospect, but there were to be no further goals as both teams searched for a knockout blow, a quest that continued after the full-time whistle. Take a careful look inside the centre circle. Cardiff unbeaten in 3, 5 without defeat now for Palace. Suspensions and injuries left Jim Magilton's side severely weakened as they welcome promotion-chasing Preston to Loftus Road. Despite being unbeaten at home, QPR had only registered 1 league win in front of their home fans. It looked like that was all about to change when they took the lead just 11 minutes in, with a fantastic goal. Adel Tarabt with a mesmerising display of skill, pace and touch, before perfectly placing the ball past Andy Lonergan. A moment of brilliance to break the deadlock. QPR doubled their lead just after the hour mark. Some fine footwork again from Tarabt. Neil Mellor with the rash challenge. Akos Buzaki with a fine penalty kick. 2-0 to the Hoops. Preston had lost only once away from home this season, but their defeat was virtually confirmed on 74 minutes. Jay Simpson making it 3-0. But still, QPR were not finished. Wayne Routledge with a 4th as the home side ran riot. And there was still time for substitute Rowan Vine to clip the bar in a dominant display for the Super Hoops. But this was certainly a day to forget for Preston North End. Scunthorpe were looking for a first league victory in over a month when they hosted Sheffield United. That last league win was over Preston, with Grant McCann getting an early goal. And the Northern Ireland international was on target again this time. And what a goal it was too. Blades boss Kevin Blackwell was looking for his 100th win as a manager. Early in the second half, his team were back in it. Ched Evans with the free kick. The United celebrations were short-lived though. Inside 2 minutes, Gary Hooper set up Paul Hayes to put the Iron back in front. Sheffield United had come back to draw in their previous 2 matches, and there would be one more goal in this game, but it would be for the home team. Hooper again involved, Josh Wright almost scored, Grant McCann did. His 6th of the season, 4 without a win now for Sheffield United.
Yeah, good day for Scunthorpe. We'll have another look at 2 great goals in a second, but to serious matters first. According to reports, that feisty affair at Cardiff, allegations of racial abuse aimed at Michael Chopra, which, you know, if is true, it's a massive shame is an understatement, but needs to be sorted.
Yes, of course. I mean, we all know. There's no place for it. When you make those sort of remarks, if they've been made, and you cross the line, no one wants to see that. Let's get on with it, let's deal with it, and we'll move on. Yeah,
I know there might be an inquiry by the authorities, but what about those 2 great goals? First of all, Grant McCann of Scunthorpe. That first goal was pretty amazing.
I think this typifies the way that Scunthorpe have approached this league. You know, they've got the ball down, they said, right, we're going to be competitive, but on our terms, and that is quite a fantastic strike. Always looks better from a left-footer, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Looks more elegant, doesn't it?
Nigel Adkins said any win for Scunthorpe in the Championship is a proud moment for them. I think he's right there, isn't he?
He is. I mean, they obviously went up with him and came back down. They've come back up. And they're more than holding their own, which is good to see.
The other great goal, Adel Tarabt for Queen's Park Rangers. I mean, Jim Magilton's held him as a dying breed of player. He goes past players with ease. Do you agree?
No, I don't think he's a dying breed. I mean, we've already featured 4 or 5 this year. I mean, this is a magnificent run. Richard Chaplow probably will think he might have done more to stop that initially, but it's a great run. It's positive, and the finish is fantastic as well. To actually approach that at that pace and then stop and pose yourself and finish like that with that sort of poise, marvellous.
Certainly gave Flavio Briatore some much-needed, something to smile about more than anything. Now, Ian Holloway's Blackpool are defying the bookies' tag as relegation candidates. Unbeaten at home in all competitions this season, the Seasiders hosted a Plymouth team who'd won their last 2 games after going 9 without a win. Dan O'Hagan was at Bloomfield Road.
Bloomfield Road, one of the toughest nuts to crack for an away team this season. Blackpool unbeaten here since Ian Holloway became their manager. 4 wins in a row at home in the League and Cup. The last defeat here came in April against, yes, you've guessed it, Plymouth Argyle. Let's check on the 2 teams. 6 Blackpool changes from the loss at Crystal Palace a fortnight ago. Among them, Matthew Jilts in for Paul Rahupka in goal. Ian Evatt returns after a month injured. Alongside him, Marcel Sipe makes his debut on loan from Plymouth. Argyle have lost loanee James Chester injured, so a new central defensive pair. Christian Timar recalled to partner Shane Lowry. Lowry only back from Australia duty yesterday. Another long hauler is Rory Fallon. He was playing for New Zealand in Bahrain in their World Cup playoff. Ian Holloway, a former Plymouth manager, of course. Holloway's first season at Blackpool has been a real success so far. Seldom is he not smiling or making others smile. Sight more up than away. This is David Vaughan. Long for Alan Buatsa's pace on that far side for Blackpool. Middle is Burgess, but Buatsa hits the post. And the keeper beaten here's Baptiste for Buatsa. Buatsa drops his shoulder and across comes Patterson. Buatsa again checks out here to Charlie Adam. And Vaughan from distance is too high. Blackpool with early pressure which nearly told through Buatsa, who hit the frame of the goal. Decent shot which had the keeper wrong-footed, maybe deflection too on the way through. Blackpool within a whisker early on. Pitcher's knock towards Patterson. This though is Buatsa for Blackpool with pace and a chance to run. Buatsa still. Adam with him. In goes the cross for Burgess! And Lario saves. With at the end a fairly simple save, but certainly a good chance there for Ian Holloway's men, which wasn't really taken. This is Southern for Buatsa. In the middle, Burgess and Clark. Buatsa's cross, good one as well, and Charlie Adam has seen a glorious chance pass him and Blackpool by. Adam has got 3 goals this season for Blackpool. This was seemingly a gimme for number 4 on a plate from Buatsa's cross. Oh, a big miss. Cushion down here for the Welshman David Vaughan. Adam for Billy Clark here. Clark! He couldn't quite take the ball down, otherwise he had a simple chance, surely, Billy Clark. Good vision here from Charlie Adam to find him though. Just that final touch and it betrayed Billy Clark. Here's Buatsa with Timar. Should have gone for an earlier foul, and it's Blackpool's free kick. And Ben Burgess for his obvious aerial presence and aerial menace. It's Charlie Adams' free kick swung in and glanced on and glanced in. And would you believe Marcel Sipe has scored on his Blackpool debut against the club he's on loan from. Marcel Sipe on loan from Plymouth scores against them today on his debut. Little glancing header. And the manager who let him go has seen him score against Argyle today. Adams ball in, and Marcel Sipe's glancing touch past Roman Lario. And Blackpool lead by a goal to 0. It had to be, didn't it? One of the more vocal managers in the Football League is Ian Holloway. Now Billy Clark can break away. Clark held up by Gray. In the middle, Burgess overlapping here, Charlie Adam. Adams cross. Timar only half away really. Here's Buatsa and Billy Clark. Great save, Lario. Stunning stop. Clark's volley clawed away by Lario at full stretch. It's a super save. Plymouth managers past and present. Carl Fletcher. Sawyer. Mackie. Reverse ball for Sawyer again. Good play this. Sawyer's cross. Off Everton away. Well, a promising Plymouth combination down this left-hand side for them. Here's Mackie. Lucky deflection and Sheridan across the face, but not really a true connection from the on-loan Celtic man. Chance goes by. The first real chance of the game, really, for Plymouth, that. Started without his assistant Kevin Summerfield today. He left the club yesterday. The word is Paul Mariner could be announced as his replacement next week. And the flag has stayed down. Buatsa's away here for Blackpool. In the middle, he's got support coming in now from Billy Clark. It's Buatsa. May have to go alone here. Buatsa for Clark. And for Burgess. Vaughan wants and gets. Vaughan! Oh, what a magnificent goal! David Vaughan with Blackpool's second. It is a picture. He got his first goal for Wales in midweek against Liechtenstein, but this is a wonderful goal for his club. David Vaughan just wound up and let rip. Worked wide here by Burgess, and he took it on himself, and it just flew past Lario. Blackpool's second is a stunner. Wins here over Coventry, Newcastle and Peterborough. Halfway towards one over Plymouth as well. Judge. Held up by Southern. Southern's block. In towards Sheridan. Good volley. Maybe too good a connection from the striker here. Judge saw his cross deflected. It comes to Sheridan, who struck it well, but over the top. A day when Plymouth have not really fired at all. A team who had won their previous two games before this one, but Plymouth have never really threatened today.
I think no excuse in blaming our travel yesterday, because every one of our players looked short. We were well off the pace of the game. Two strides, I thought. You know, every ball was they chased and harassed, and they're a good side. They've got some good players. But our second half, we've come back into the game. At least the boys have shown a wee bit of pride.
Well, it's not often you see a lone player like Marcel Sykes scoring against his parent club, and this was the view from both camps.
These things are written, aren't they? You know, he hasn't played for us. I made him play in the reserves on Wednesday night. I said, if you do well, I might consider you for Saturday. And, you know, he's gone and got the first goal. It's a nice feeling for him, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about 3 points.
It's unreal, to be honest. Like, normally you're not allowed to play against your team, but you could see it coming. Like, I'm allowed to play, and it's the first goal of the season as well for me, so I'm quite pleased with that, and I'm just pleased with the performance, and we got 3 points here.
I'll just add some more quotes from Marcel Sykes. He says, I'm delighted to have scored. I was training on my own at Plymouth. I'll never play for that man again, i.e. Paul Sturrock, and he'll never pick me. So no love lost there, it's fair to say, and he's not going back.
He's certainly not going back. I've no idea why he was allowed to play today. It's a stick to beat Paul Sturrock up with, isn't it? Because people are just now going, well, why did you allow him to play? All you had to say was no, and that's really probably what he should have done.
Yeah, you've been quite impressed with Blackpool, haven't you, in their style of play?
Yeah, certainly today. I mean, I thought they were excellent today. There's some, there was a real confidence about them. They moved the ball. They had lots of options on the ball. I thought what was most impressive was the quality of ball they put into the box. You know, when they got in good areas, they didn't rush. You know, here twice we've seen Buatsa take his time. He's looked up, knows exactly where that ball's going to go. And I mean, Charlie Adam will, for the rest of his career, be wondering how he missed that. Another super ball in. And that's for Sykes' goal from Charlie Adam. And then we've got David Vaughan's striker cross goal. And just a feature of their play the whole afternoon was the quality when they got it wide, quality of delivery into the box.
It's a good midfield, that, isn't it? I mean, you've got Charlie Adam, David Vaughan, Buatsa out on the flank.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice blend, nice balance. As I say, when they got the ball, they moved it around, plenty of options. And you know why they're good at home now.
Yeah. Now, rock bottom of the Championship without a win all season and having let in more goals than anyone else, Roy Keane won't need reminding Ipswich are in serious trouble. The good news, though, for Town fans is today's visitors Swansea had scored the fewest goals in the Championship this season.
The sentiment is clear to see, as anxious Ipswich fans arrived at Portman Road still waiting for their team's first league win of the season. Swansea were undefeated in 5 going into this one, and less than 7 minutes had been played when Angel Rangel sent Craig Beattie through. The Swans ahead, Beattie's first goal for the club. When these two teams met exactly a year ago, it finished 2-2, Pablo Conago scoring both of Town's goals, and the Spanish striker was on target again this time to make it 1-1. Ipswich had the better of the play and were unfortunate not to get a precious first win, John Walters going close. But when you're bottom of the league, luck doesn't tend to go your way.
We'd certainly had the better of the chances. Second half, very good opportunities to win the game and we didn't take them. And I think, to be fair, that's happened a few times this season. And I think we've no one to blame but ourselves. You know, if you get these chances, you've got to take them.
Here's a fact you may be unaware of. Bristol City haven't lost at home in the league since last December. After just half an hour against Peterborough, it became clear exactly why. Cole Skews with the opening goal. George Boyd was making an astonishing 124th consecutive appearance for Posh. He marked the occasion by heading in Danny Rose's cross in the final minute to earn Peterborough a point.
I thought we caused them problems, especially on the counter-attack, and we looked pretty solid in the main. I know their lad missed a good chance at 0-0. I know we've lost a soft goal, poor goal. But no, you have to consider a point at Bristol City a decent result.
Shouldn't need biscuits unattended.
Doncaster were aiming to end a run of 4 successive draws as they welcomed Yorkshire rivals Barnsley to the Keepmoat Stadium. Doncaster's Billy Sharp thought he'd done enough to put the home side ahead, only to see a flag raised by the assistant referee. In the second half, Dean Shields went even closer for Rovers, hitting the bar. And that was unfortunate for the home team, as Barnsley, rejuvenated under new manager Mark Robins, scored what proved to be the winner 16 minutes from time. Adam Hamill from the tightest of tight angles. That goal, against the run of play, clinched a 4th victory in 7 league matches since Robins took charge at Oakwell. This was a win the Barnsley boss described as magnificent. Derby last won at Leicester in 2002 when both clubs graced the Premier League. The evergreen Derby midfielder Robbie Savage, on his 35th birthday, looked lively against the club where he made his name. Chris Commons with this chance for the visitors. Leicester did get the ball in the net 3 minutes from time through substitute Martin Waghorn, but it was ruled out for offside. Honours even in the East Midlands derby, one manager a lot happier than the other.
Yeah, it was a strange game in some ways, because the first half we were under pressure and didn't play very well. We didn't cope particularly well with our forward play, and then we didn't do enough ourselves. But second half, much improvement. And yeah, we could have nicked it.
It's disappointing for us because I think they probably got what they came for. I don't think they were overly adventurous, but we didn't quite find the way to break them down. So it's a disappointing result for us in many ways.
Sheffield Wednesday went into their match against Coventry without a goal in their previous 2 games, but they needed just 3 minutes to take the lead here. Darren Pearce was immediately appointed club captain when he arrived at Hillsborough in the summer, and he scored his first goal for Wednesday from Darren Potter's corner. Coventry beat Wednesday twice last season, but this match was less than 20 minutes old when James O'Connor was fouled just inside the area by Elliot Ward. A clear penalty, scored by Leon Clark. Coventry thought they'd pulled a goal back when Wednesday keeper Lee Grant went very close to carrying the ball over his own goal line. The officials all agreed that he hadn't. And the afternoon got worse for the Sky Blues when Aaron Gunnarsson was injured in the second half. Despite the initial Al's protests, the Icelandic midfielder was subsequently stretchered off. Coventry manager Chris Coleman fears the worst, and that Gunnarsson may be out of action for some time.
Yeah, it's no wonder Gunnarsson wouldn't accept the opponent's hand. It looks like he's got a suspected broken leg, so, you know, we wish him a speedy recovery there, don't we? 2 weeks to reflect for Sheffield Wednesday after that 3-0 hammering by Derby. I should think they'll be glad to get that game over and done with, and 3 points in the bag for Brighton.
Yeah, it's a little bit of turnaround of somewhat of fortunes. They're back up to 13th, so they're 1 place off of where they always are, which is 12th, isn't it? I think they start and finish. I think they finished 12th last year, and they're hovering around there. They would expect probably to do a little bit better this year. I mean, I'm not sure whether they can break into the top 6, but anything advanced on 12th, I think, will be a good year for them.
Chris Coleman not very happy with some of the decisions made by the officials. What did you think about the Leon Best header? At first, I thought maybe this was a goal. It went over the line. What did you think?
It's very difficult to tell, isn't it? I mean, I think we've got the linesman over the other side. Now, he's not going to get a clear view of this, is it? Because obviously the keeper is in the way of him and the ball. Yeah, I mean, there is obviously a case that Chris Coleman has. I mean, if I remember rightly, he also had a goal against Bristol City ruled off, which was rather contentious. So he'll be feeling a little bit hard done by this season.
As for Ipswich, still without a win now after 12 games. We talk about this most weeks, but there's character shown by the players, because at least they came back after going behind.
They did, and I mean, you can always tell when you interview the manager afterwards. You know, you get it, even if you haven't watched the game, you get an idea of how the team have played. And, you know, he was relatively pleased. He said, look, the only thing that was wrong with our performance is that we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And if that is right, you're not going to be that far away. Their first win is just round the corner.
OK, well, let's hear from Championship fans then on the emails and texts. Lizzie, what have you got for us?
Well, first of all, just talk about the dedicated fans. Thanks to everyone who's got in touch. No one so far is beating the 28 years of the Swindon fan, but Will says Paul, who's a Torquay fan who lives in Manchester, still goes to every game, which isn't bad. Joe says my Uncle Tam hasn't missed a Sheffield Wednesday match for 10 years, which is also not bad. Now, we've got lots of happy Blackpool fans, but very, very, very many unhappy Plymouth fans about Marcel Sipes' goal against his own club. Steve says it makes us the laughing stock. What other club would have allowed it? Well, interestingly, Derby's Paul Dickoff, who's on loan from Leicester City, wasn't allowed to play for Derby today against them. So there you go. They didn't do that. Now, let's talk about Barnsley, because we've had quite a few very happy Barnsley fans. Big Pete, who calls himself a daft mad Tykes fan, is one of many to get in touch. He says, we're now the form team of the Championship since Midas Robbins took over, which just goes to show we always had the players. Mikey's got in touch. He's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. He says that disallowed Leon Best Coventry goal, or so he's calling it a goal, looked to everyone in the ground miles over the line. So there you go. And Hanksy, who's also a Wednesday fan, says, every game I've missed this season, we've won. Does this make me a jinx? I'm not sure. We'll have to find out next time you go to another game. Ashton, who's a Bristol City fan, says, we want our Robin back as our badge. Has anyone got any suggestions as to what their new emblem should be? Let us know. We've had lots of very happy QPR fans who are loving the football that Jimbo Gilton has you guys playing. Although Gracie says, Adel Tarat must learn when to release the ball. If you're watching, make sure you give it away next time. Anthony, though, who's from Mexico. Now, is this the furthest fan away from the Football League show? He says Forest were outstanding against Newcastle today. If you know anyone else who's a fan from further away, then let us know. And finally, we've got lots of questions for Steve about Ipswich. Graham says, Steve, considering the team Ipswich have, how can they possibly do so badly? The signings Roy Keane has brought into the club are exceptional, considering the level of opposition in the Championship. How come they're struggling? It's a mystery to me. Help me out.
Well, I think you've got a little bit of bad luck. You've got, obviously, Roy Keane will look at himself and think maybe he can do a little bit better, and certainly players will look at themselves and say, there's got to be better to come from this season. But they look like things are on the turn for them. We keep our fingers crossed that, as you say, that first win isn't far away.
Sure. Apart from Norwich fans, of course. Now, with Leeds playing on Monday against Norwich, both Colchester and Charlton had a chance to go top of League One. Charlton seemed to have the harder task with a home game against a Huddersfield side who'd rediscovered their scoring touch with 7 goals in their last 2 games.
A musical welcome for fans at the Valley, a samba band supporting the Kick Racism Out of Football campaign. And from the outset it was clear that Charlton were hitting all the right notes. Sam Soji's emphatic header put them in front after just 8 minutes. Looking to end a run of 3 league games without a win, this was the start Phil Parkinson would have wanted. Huddersfield are one of the division's top scorers, so it was no surprise when they conjured an equaliser 7 minutes before the interval. Anthony Pilkington's free kick going in off the post. But shortly after half-time, Charlton scored what proved to be the winner, and the goals are starting to flow at last for Isaiah McLeod. This was his third of the season. McLeod likes to take his shirt off when he scores. His manager probably doesn't like it when he gets booked for it. Even then, the visitors showed some flashes, and only an outstanding save from Rob Elliott denied Jordan Rhodes the win good enough to put the Addicks back on top of the table, if only temporarily.
Nice to look at the league table, and we said at half-time, lads, what bigger incentive do you need than to go out there and win this game and get up in the morning and read the papers and see us at top of the table. So it's a good feeling, and you know, we'll enjoy it. And 13 games gone, still early, but it's a nice place to be.
A tough task for new Wycombe manager Gary Waddock. His first game was against a Colchester side looking to go top, and so far unbeaten under Adi Boothroyd. And Wycombe made a decent start, Michael Jubilee going close with this early header. But things unravel for the home side. Goalkeeper Scott Shearer allowing Coyote Odijay to pick his pocket on the edge of the area to score his third goal in 3 games whilst on loan from Barnsley. There was relief at Adams Park though, as Waddock earned his first point in charge, when John Paul Pittman latched onto a long through ball to score 3 minutes from time. United are 3 points off the top. Wycombe remain in trouble, having won once all season.
The challenge facing the inform MK Dons was to play keepy-uppy with the League One pace-setters, and Paul Ince's improving side always had the edge over visitors Gillingham. Matthias Doombay's header against the post, a sign of things to come. The breakthrough came just past the hour. It goes in the book as Jermaine Easter's 10th goal of the season, but it owed much to the persistence and vision of Jason Puncheon, whose run gave the Welsh international a simple tap-in. While Easter's been hogging the goals, strike partner Aaron Wilbraham has failed to get his name on the score sheet, but the popular striker finally put that right in stoppage time. The Dons quietly up to third, 3 wins in a row, no goals conceded.
A visit from the Pirates has been one to fear this season. Bristol Rovers had won 4 and lost just twice on their travels in the league before this one. Southend manager Steve Tilson was looking for improvement after 4 defeats in 5. Although there's been nothing wrong with Lee Barnard's form. He's made a habit of scoring late goals this season, but took just 13 minutes to curl home this beauty. Barnard's brace effectively sealed the match early in the second half to give the Shrimpers only their second home league win, and the strikers 12th of the season. It's very unusual for Rovers not to score, but on this occasion they needed a little bit of help. Tony Grant's own goal, scant consolation for the Pirates, the latest victims of Lee Barnard's scoring prowess.
I've had a good start. You know, I don't know what I put it down to. You know, the lads are creating chances for me, and thankfully I've been putting them away.
Yeah, he's certainly done well. He scored 12 of Southend's 21 goals in all competitions. I mean, that's more than half. That's unbelievable.
Had a little bit of a lull in this division, Southend, last couple of years. I mean, they've always punched their weight under Steve Tilson. The new Freddie Eastwood, possibly?
Yeah, that's a bit unfair, isn't it, to burden him with that?
Well, no, I mean, he looks that type of player, and to be fair, if you're going to make an impression, you need someone to step up to the plate and get you some goals. And one player can make a big difference in this league, and undoubtedly for Southend, Lee Barnard is that player.
Wycombe drew under Gary Waddock, his first game in charge. You understand Gary's decision to go there?
Well, first it's a goal in the last 3 minutes, so he's got a bit about them, haven't they? They've got a bit of fighting character. I don't know. We don't know the situation. He left Aldershot. We don't know the situation he's walked into there. You know, Aldershot might have said there's no more money to spend. Wycombe might have said there's lots of money to spend. But to be honest, when you look at it, you've got one team who are struggling somewhat in their league, and you've got one who are nicely placed. So there's not that much between them. Just the divisions are different. So yeah, I mean, it would have been interesting for us to know exact reasons why he left.
Okay. Now, Swindon are going better than almost anyone else in League One. Unbeaten in 11 league games, they welcomed a Hartlepool side with just 1 win in the last 7. They also welcomed a fan who quite simply beggars belief. Mark Clemmit has more.
The really incredible thing about Swindon superfan Derek Elston is not that today is his 1,504th consecutive match, nor that he lives in Northampton, 17 miles from the county ground. it's the fact that he's not even from Swindon. When he started to support them in 1963, he picked them completely at random. Why Swindon?
Because my parents had friends that lived just outside Swindon. I was keen on railways, and I picked Swindon because it was a railway town.
Unbelievable. And this whole love affair has spawned out of that.
It has indeed, yeah.
So tell me the lengths that you have gone to support your beloved team.
My brother got married on the opening day of the season. I was like royalty, really. Sent the wife as my representative, and I went off to Chesterfield.
Even the vicar mentioned it in the service.
Did he? Yeah. What did he say?
Well, he just said that Keith's brother isn't here, but we all know where he is anyway. He was at Chesterfield watching the football. So he would be back for the evening do.
So have you ever been close to letting that run go? Has there ever been a moment when you thought, nah, can't be bothered with this?
Not on a can't be bothered basis, definitely not, no. The nearest was 18 months ago when I had a knee operation, and they gave me an initial appointment for a Saturday, which I turned down. And then they gave me an appointment for a Tuesday night in December, which was the only midweek game we'd got at Carlisle. So fortunately, wife picked me up from the hospital and drove me up there.
So you really honestly don't mind about this?
No, because I get a day out with it as well. I go shopping. I see different parts of the country that I wouldn't see normally.
Derek, wait! You've forgotten your anorak! Never mind gassing, Derek, and put that down, mate. Come on, I've got a surprise for you. Follow me.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
Have you ever met the manager, Derek?
No, I've never met Danny, no.
It's like Jim will fix it.
Hi, Danny.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
And yourself as well.
Yeah, sound as a pound.
Nice to see you. 1981 December. Has not missed a game since then. Can you believe it?
It's incredible, isn't it? What a record that is. And to boot, I believe, is from travelling from Northampton as well.
That's correct, yeah.
Crikey, absolutely incredible. Fantastic.
You've given him plenty to cheer about this season, I have to say.
Well, hopefully a bit more today as well.
That'd be nice.
It would be very nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would.
Yeah, it's going okay so far.
Are you? Have you got a little message you want to pass the dressing room through, Danny?
Just tell them to keep it tight in the last 10, Danny. That's the important thing, I think, today.
It's the last 2, never mind the last 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Late goals weren't the problem for Swindon today. It was the early ones. Just 98 seconds on the clock when James Brown headed home his 3rd goal of the season. Swindon hadn't lost since opening day, a 14-match unbeaten run, but they never recovered from this early setback. And how ironic that Andy Monkhouse, of all people, should seal Hartlepool's first win in 4 games. The former Swindon man had been signed by Danny Wilson when he was in charge at Hartlepool. Monkhouse had the last laugh here. Swindon probably don't see the funny side.
Well, old Derek said sort of watch out what happens at the back end of the game, but I suppose he should have said the front end as well.
We've turned it round, haven't we? We're conceding in the first minute now instead of the last. But they were sloppy goals, very sloppy goals, and I say from Derek's point of view, I'm disappointed for him. He's got a long journey back home again now without anything to show for it.
It was absolutely abysmal, mate, to be truthful. It was. It was though, wasn't it? We weren't in the game from start to finish.
Incredible. If you know of a more dedicated fan, then send Lizzie a text or email. Who knows, you might even be featured on this programme. Lucky you. So, back to the action and Southampton's trip to Oldham. 2 teams in excellent form. But for the Saints, the chance to finally move off the bottom of the table.
Southampton made the perfect start at Boundary Park. 1 up thanks to Dean Hammond heading home his first goal for the club from Lloyd James' corner. And the Saints were helped to a second away win when Ricky Lambert's free kick squirmed under keeper Dean Brill for his 8th of the season. Some slack defending from Oldham then let in Morgan Schneidlin, but he provided the Boundary Park fans with one of the misses of the season. One to forget for the Frenchman. Pavel Abbott got Oldham back in it at 2-1. A great run from Blackburn loanee Alex Marrow saw his shot come back off the post for the pole to convert.
Southampton, though, secured the points. Debutant David Connolly coming off the bench to make it 3-1. The Saints are off the bottom of the table, and with a new fans' favourite, heading south from Boundary Park, but looking north at the table.
Tranmere will need more than a magic sponge to pull away from the drop zone, but Les Parry, their former physio turned caretaker manager, at least massaged a first home league win in 2 months for his beleaguered side. Australian Gareth Edge setting them on their way against Brighton after 36 minutes. And life after John Barnes began to look even brighter for the Wirral side after 66 minutes, when former England under-21 John Welsh took aim and unleashed a beauty. Not a debut to remember, though, for Tranmere keeper David Martin. Just signed on a month's loan from neighbours Liverpool, the keeper brought down Gary Hart to give the visitors a penalty, which Glenn Murray dispatched. Game on with 12 minutes remaining. Murray had earlier been booked for handball, so this second transgression was senseless. A red card, Brighton's 6th of the season, effectively ended their hopes, but a much-needed 3 points for Rovers.
Carlisle have never won at Queech Park, but had lost only once on the road this season prior to their match with Yeovil. And it was unlucky 13 for the Cumbrians, because that's how many minutes were on the clock when Yeovil had the lead. Spurs loanee Ryan Mason finishing off Craig Alcock's through ball. Yeovil had drawn their last 3 games, but were in no danger of sharing the spoils this weekend. Mason claiming his brace just before the interval to take his tally to 4 since arriving at the Glovers. Carlisle were given a lifeline 10 minutes into the second half. Terrell Forbes bringing down Scott Dobie in the penalty area. Ian Hart making no mistake from 12 yards for his 4th of the season. But the home side wrapped up the points with just 3 minutes remaining. 20-year-old Kieran Murtagh scoring his 2nd for the club, making it 3-1 and ensuring that Carlisle remain without a victory in 8 league games.
Winless in 13 away games, Millwall ran riot at Stockport. Skipper Paul Robinson celebrated returning from a 6-week injury layoff with the opener. The Londoners, who'd managed only 2 goals away from the New Den all season, equalled that tally after just 23 minutes. Neil Harris ruthlessly punishing Paul Huntington's weak header. Stockport's generous defending certainly contributed to their spanking. Nobody home on 37 minutes as Harris breezed through for his 8th goal of the campaign. None will have been any easier. And the rampant Lion was then brought down in the box and had a chance to complete a first-half hat-trick. He got up, dusted himself down and calmly took the penalty. Stockport keeper Owen Fon-Williams clearly hadn't read the script. It was merely delaying the inevitable. On 68 minutes, Stockport carved open, Harris getting the final touch for his 2nd hat-trick of the season. Millwall putting an end to those away day blues.
Exeter City were thrashed 4-0 by Huddersfield last time out, and things didn't improve at the Bescot. After 29 minutes, a well-worked move ended with Steve Jones putting Walsall 1 up. And Jones got his 2nd just before the break to double the home side's advantage, a great finish from distance. The Northern Ireland striker's 4th of the campaign means he scored 3 and 3. Fitness first for Jonesy. He then had a chance to complete his hat-trick and take home the match ball, but this effort was cleared off the line with Exeter goalkeeper Andy Marriott stranded. Things got worse for the Devon side after Richard Duffy was sent off for his 2nd yellow after a blatant body check on Darren Byfield. And the result was sewn up with 20 minutes to go, Troy Deeney scoring his 4th of the campaign for 3-0. It's the Saddlers' 2nd home win of the season to end a run of just 1 victory in 5.
This London derby saw the side from the west end of town draw first blood. Sam Woods with the free kick and Carl Court, once of Newcastle, turning back the years with a glancing header. The former Premier League target man doesn't score many these days, but he almost made it 3 in 3 matches shortly afterwards. Glenn Morris in the home goal had other ideas. Not much seemed to be going right for the hosts, however, even when Ryan Jarvis was upended by Mark Phillips in the area. Scott McLeish's penalty, though, was excellently saved by Nicky Bull. but 2 minutes later McLeish was able to banish that spot-kick embarrassment. Tamika Umkandawiri with the set-up, McLeish celebrating his 5th goal of the season. And the EastEnders grabbed the winner 20 minutes into the second half. Danny Foster, the unfortunate fall guy on this occasion. With only 1 win in their last 10, Brentford are wobbling uncertainly. Orient are on the up.
Yeah, after a good start, it's going horribly wrong for Brentford at the minute. What about Southampton? Good win at Boundary Park for them. Good signing, and David Connolly too.
Very good. I was with David at Wolves, and I'm very impressed with him. He's had a few injuries, and you know he's been to a couple of clubs where he hasn't managed to get a foothold, but no, that is an excellent sign. If he gets anywhere near back to full fitness, then he's a handful.
John Barnes must be scratching his head, really. I mean, he managed to get 2 wins in 11, and a win today under Les Parry. They just need consistency, surely.
Yeah, I mean, what they've done, I mean, they were conceding too many goals. You know, they conceded 1 previous game, they've conceded 1 today, but they've managed to score a couple. And I think that's first and foremost where they had to tighten up, because averaging over 2 goals a game, you're not giving yourself a chance of winning a game of football. They've tightened up, and the results will come with that.
Finally, your view on Derek Elston, our featured Swindon fan. Does it surprise you the length some football fans go to see their team?
Not really, because, I mean, it's what sets football apart. You know, I'm bound to be a little bit biased, but, you know, the passion that he shows and many others, you know, it shows the impact that football has on people's lives.
OK, well, time to hear from other fans now, primarily those from League One. Lizzie.
Yeah, finally we've got a fan who seems to be more dedicated than the Swindon fan. Johnny says, my granddad Charlie hasn't missed an Ipswich match for 43 years. And John says, although I'm not sure if it's true, but I don't want to doubt you, John, he says, I travel from Brazil to watch every single Blackpool home game. OK. We've not had as many Saints fans, I'd like to say gloating, maybe, now that they're off the bottom of the table. Not as many as I thought, but Mike emailed to say, now we're seeing the real Saints. They're coming and they're afraid of nobody. I've got a message for Brentford players from Callum. He says, you need to sort yourselves out and stop arguing with each other if you want to finish in the top half. Have you got that, Brentford players? And I'm loving the physio chants from Tranmere fans. They're talking about Les Parry, who's part of the caretaker management team, and is, of course, their physio. Ryan and Stu have both written apologies for the singing. Who needs Mourinho when we've got our physio? It's even out of tune, sorry about that. We've had plenty of very happy Charlton fans, and I'm not surprised. I was at that game today, and they played pretty well, although I thought Huddersfield were unlucky. But it was a magic moment for me when the guy behind me had been slating Isaac McLeod the whole game, and when he scored, the man came back down and he shook my hand. That was quite funny. Finally, a question for you, Steve. Listen up here, please. Jamie says, at times last year, watching Charlton was horrible. This year is a lot different. How much of a difference is it between playing Championship football and League One football?
If you're a poor side in the Championship, which obviously Charlton were last year, then it's hard. If you're a good side in League One, then you'll be OK. If you are a good side in League One, you're not that far away from being OK in the Championship, I've got to say.
All right. Well, League Two action started last night when Macclesfield travelled to Cheltenham.
Martin Allen's Cheltenham have been in free fall in recent weeks, beset by injuries, and with just 1 home win all season, they looked up against it as Macclesfield came calling. And predictably, it was the visitors who took the lead. Macclesfield coach Keith Alexander has demanded his players become sharper in front of goal. Ricky Sappleton has obviously got the message. The Jamaican's 3rd of the season, opening the scoring on 27 minutes. Macclesfield had never won at Whaddon Road, but they doubled their advantage just before the break with a high-class goal from John Rooney, the younger brother of the rather better-known Wayne, showing that an eye for goal runs in the family. The Robins were much improved after the interval, and Elvis Hammond gave them hope after 69 minutes, but that was the end of the scoring. Just 1 point from their last 5 games tells its own story. Cheltenham are in trouble.
Well, leaders Bournemouth haven't won in 4 games, and they travel to Accrington Stanley, who thankfully appear to have found the money to stave off administration. It's the latest episode in the club's eventful history.
The town of Accrington is the smallest in England and Wales to boast a league team. The area's original club, Accrington FC, were one of the 12 founder members of the Football League in 1888. When they dropped out 5 years later due to financial problems, Stanley Villa, who were based at the town's Stanley Street Working Men's Club, then changed their name to Accrington Stanley. Entering the league themselves in 1921, they famously resigned mid-season in 1962 with their own financial problems, and a year later folded. In the 1980s, a celebrated TV advert for milk turned the club into a household name.
It's what Ian Rush drinks. Ian Rush? Yeah, and he said if I didn't drink lots of milk, when I grow up, I'm going to be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley? Who are they? Exactly.
The original script featured Tottenham Hotspur, but when Spurs objected, the National Dairy Council picked Accrington Stanley instead. With 3 promotions in 7 seasons, manager John Coleman was the mastermind behind the reformed club's return to the Football League in 2006. Former cricketer David Bumble Lloyd is a fan. And Sir Alf Ramsey's assistant coach and physio in the 1966 World Cup finals, Les Cocker, was an Accrington Stanley forward.
Accrington had won 3 on the bounce at the Crown Ground and were looking to claim the scalp of Bournemouth. Michael Symes went closest for the host but was denied by keeper Shwan Jalal. Bournemouth had gone 3 games without a win but claimed the points 14 minutes from time. Warren Cummings' free kick met by the head of Danny Hollands, who scored in each of his last 4 games. The Cherries' Brett Pittman has been in prolific form this season, and thankfully this miss didn't prove costly, as Bournemouth remain top.
The Notts County soap opera doesn't look like ending anytime soon. This week's dismissal of Ian McParland, the latest twist, a host of suspects named as his possible replacement. But no matter who comes in, they'll hope for better luck than County had against fellow promotion contenders Rotherham, Mike Edwards seeing his effort crash back off the crossbar. Despite being unbeaten at home and just a point off the top, Rotherham were always second best and were simply looking to survive for most of the second half after Nick Fenton picked up a second yellow card on 51 minutes. But even then, County couldn't make the breakthrough, although Luke Rogers came close, denied first by Andy Warrington, then by a block from Pablo Mills. 3 draws in a row for County. The next chapter of their drama should be interesting.
The kick-it-out campaign was in evidence at Dagenham as they took on Bradford, who are the division's joint top scorers away from home. The Daggers have only dropped 2 points at Victoria Road, where they've been averaging 3 goals a game. Paul Benson with his 9th of the season. Michael Flynn equalised 10 minutes later after goalkeeper Tony Roberts' punch fell nicely for him on the edge of the area. His 4th of the season, and he's got a knack for once from long range. Dagenham had the chance to go back in front a minute later. John Nurse was adjudged to have been fouled by Zesh Raymond, and up stepped Paul Benson to double his tally. But the visiting Bradford fans were the only ones in danger as he skied his effort. The winner came 18 minutes from time, from the most unlikely of sources. Former Arsenal trainee Abu Agogo's first goal for the club rescued Benson and the points to keep them second and pile on the pressure on Bournemouth.
Rochdale always seemed to do well at Blundell Park. They'd won 5 times in 7 previous visits and were on their way to another triumph on 24 minutes. Adam Rundle teasing and tormenting the Grimsby defence before finishing calmly. Rundle then prevented the home side from getting back into the game in the second half, stopping Ryan Bennett's goal-bound header on the line.